The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. It's the words of Psalm 34, verse 18. There have been a few times in my life when I've gone to start my car and it's just not turned over. Maybe the engine light came on, or there was a whirring noise, or there's a cough or a splitter, but nothing came of it. The car had broken down. Now, I'm not mechanically minded at all, so in those moments I've always had to call for assistance. Normally AA comes, plugs in their computer, diagnoses the fault, and then delivers the news, normally bad, that something has broken in my car and stopped working. That picture sort of captures something of what can happen to us when we break down inwardly. Often, for many people, due to circumstances in their life, whether of deep anxiety, depression, or relentless stress even, the burden of an overwhelming responsibility, it just gets too much. We just can't take it. The mind just can't cope anymore. The heart just gives up, goes hard and cold, can't feel anything anymore. A person can often feel as though something inside them has broken. What once worked smoothly now stalls, coughs and splutters, trying to exist. And life itself becomes pretty hard to manage. Maybe you feel like that today. Maybe you've felt like that for a while. Maybe you've just come through a season of that. At such times, practical help is really essential. Of course it is. And we are so thankful. And we should never despise the good doctors that God has blessed us with, the good counsellors that He's put on this earth, or mental health professionals that we have today. As creatures of dust, which we're made from, we must often take a step back, lay aside our unnecessary burdens that we shouldn't be carrying, and accept care and love and concern from others. Receive it and accept it. The Bible reminds us that the two people are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other. That's in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Sometimes healing for us requires not only rest, but also wisdom and love of a community or your own personal village gathered around to help you. But breakdowns are not limited to the mind. Bodies break down too, with illness, or organs or limbs stop working, no longer function like they should, causing real concern. Relationships can break down too in marriages, where communication ceases and love grows cold. Or what about even churches that have become, they're not immune from breakdowns. They've got breakdowns because maybe gossip is spread about someone, or when unity is shattered in a church, or when brothers and sisters fall out because of doctrinal issues. The truth is, we live in a fallen world and breakdown is absolutely everywhere. It's common. The question is this: do we as Christians face them? How do we face them? Where are we looking? Where do we look when our strength collapses? The psalmist gives us the answer when he says, my help, whence did my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. My comfort in every breakdown, whether of mind or of body or of marriage or of church, is that the Lord is near us. He's near to the brokenhearted, to you, to me. He does not despise our weaknesses. He draws close to us. He is strong when we are weak. The Apostle Paul reminds himself and he confesses, we are so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired for life itself. Yet he also declared that God allowed this so that he would not rely on himself, but on God who raises the dead. In other words, even in the very collapse of our human strength, the gospel shines brightest. Christ himself knows what it is to be overwhelmed. For in Gethsemane, remember, he cries out and he says in Mark 14:34, he says, my soul is very sorrowful, even to death. And yet he bore the full weight of our sin at the cross so that we might know his presence in our weaknesses. So Christian, friends, when the breakdowns come, and at some point in life, believe me, they will come, it'll be good to remember this. You may feel crushed, but you are not abandoned. You may feel despair, but you are not destroyed. For the Lord Jesus, who was broken for you, will never cease loving you, and he will never forsake you. Cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. And so with confidence, even in the midst of a breakdown, we can say with the psalmist, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in troubled times.